Hi, so this little video I'm going to talk about sort of 3 hints associated with Excel. I'm going to talk about reference cells, so how do you reference one cell versus another. I'm going to talk about if statements, and I'm going to talk about workbooks. So I think workbooks I'm going to start with because I want to sort of show you the overall structure. So what I have is I have created here sort of a beginning of a GPA calculator. So the workbooks means that there's a bunch of spreadsheets. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. That there's a bunch of spreadsheets within the workbook. So this workbook has 3 spreadsheets: the overall calculation, the fall 2016, and the winter 2017, which I didn't spell right. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to also want to create another. So all I do is just do that, and I'm going to call this spring 2017, which is all the quarters of your freshman year. And all I'm going to do is the stuff I have in this spreadsheet, I'm going to go and copy it into this. So what I've used is I've used a cut and a paste. In this I selected by doing all of that, and I can do edit, copy, and then go over here to spring 2013 and say edit, paste. And I actually know how to do this much quicker because I've been doing it for so long. I can do Control C for copy and Control V for paste. That's what I've done here. So you can see these are the, right now I have 3 workbooks. The one which is the overall, so this is where all the calculations, this is sort of the output report. And then I have the fall 2016, and then I have fall 2017, and I have winter 2017 and spring 2017. So you can see you can just keep adding them in. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm gonna talk to you about. The second is reference cells. So this is when you're writing an equation in Excel, you can put numbers in each of these cells. See, I'm typing numbers in these cells. And then what I can do also is I can make another number, and I'm going to say that that's going to be 2. Now if I want to take everything that's in this column and multiply it by everything that's in this column, I can use reference cells. So I type an equal sign, I move my cursor over, and I click on that. Now you can see here it has a C1 reference there, and then I'm going to multiply times this one. So I clicked multiply, and I'm just going to hit enter. So now this is this number cell is C1 times D1. And now if I want to, I can copy this equation all the way down. And the way I'm going to copy is I hold it in the corner until it's a crossbar, and I drag it down. So now I have this particular cell is C2 times D2. This is C3 times D3, and I've referenced those cells. So when I clicked and dragged, it went ahead and did this copy. Now sometimes we want to do something else. Like let's say we want to multiply all of these numbers by that value. So if I take this number and I multiply it by that number, it's 18. That works fine. But if I drag it down, then actually this reference cell, I can see what it's referencing by double counting it, is double clicking it, is referencing this cell because I went down one cell there, and so I went down one cell there, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to go to this value, and I'm going to put a $sign in front of the 5, and I'm also going to put it in front of the B, which means that I am locking on this cell. So when I copy it down, now this is going to be that one times this one, but because I've used a $sign, I've locked on that. Okay, so this is a little bit of a, clear these up, a little bit of a calculation on reference cells, so how you do reference cells. Now the other thing is an if statement. In your calculations for your GPA, you will want to, you'll have labels that you want to convert to values. So I'm gonna put in some sort of random values in here. What I want to say is I want to say that if this value this number here, that G1, is equal to A, and I'm going to put quotes around it because that's called a label, it's not a number. Then I want to put a 100. Otherwise, I want to put a 0. So you can see that value's A, so it put a 100. Now let's see if it works for the others when I bring it down. So this is A, so it put 100. This is D, so it put 0. So you can see these if statements are actually quite valuable. You can also have if statements associated with numbers. So I'm going to say if this value is greater than 20, then put a 1, otherwise put a 0. So that made it a 0 because it's 18, but all these other ones are going to come in 1. And if I want to count how many values are over 18 in this, over 20 in this list, I can just add those up and there's 4. So there's a lot of tricky ways you can maneuver with Excel. I hope that helped you to see some of the tricks of Excel.